Okay, so I came across Datastar slightly less than a week ago now, and I'm really excited because I think this is like the UI layer I've been searching for to go on top of cross-stream. So I've taken the to-do MVC. This is the Datastar to-do MVC example. And I've just kind of recreated it using Nushell and cross-stream on the back ends, and then using HTTP new to make the back end available over HTTP. Anyway, this is kind of like the full-blown example. So it kind of like does everything you would expect. More stuff, and then complete. It's great. Toggle a bunch of stuff. Okay, so that's the complete thing working. Let's jump across to the tutorial. Okay, to do MVC with Datastar. Okay, so to get going, you will need a terminal, and you'll need cross stream running. I've just started a new context for the screencast. So I've got a nice empty cross-stream context. Okay, now I feel like one of the reasons I'm really excited about coming across Datastar and its community is I feel like with CrossStream, I've had trouble sort of getting across to people how you approach developing apps in an event source sort of way, and it feels like I get the impression that Datastar community is having a similar challenge. So if you look at this tutorial, it's like how are we going to build a to-do app? And it's kind of like we're going to go all the way through this tutorial and then finally a little data star, like all the way at the very end. And then just a little bit of sprinkle of data star, and we now have a dynamic UI. And it's kind of like, I think like one of the reasons people struggle with this approach is because it's almost like so simple, it's difficult to get. Anyway, so let's back it up. Okay. So what I've written here is what may not be intuitive about event sourcing, and by extension, Datastar's hypermedia approach is when you have an idea, like you don't start with the UI, start with the event stream, and so I call this solo development stream-driven development. So in this case, we're making it a to-do app. So let's start by adding to-dos to the event stream. So I'm going to copy this. Okay, so we're going to append a new to-do to the event stream. And with experience, you kind of like get a feel for how to structure these events. But I've teed this up so we've got action add. Normally, actually, I would put the text in the content address store. But just for this tutorial, we'll put the text in the metadata. Okay, so if we now have one event on the event stream. So see the event. And okay, and let's add another one. Build something cool. Okay. And so in this case, what we're going to do is once we append it, we're going to assign that to do that we've just appended to a variable, and then so now we have a sort of a handle on that second to do. Okay, so we now have two to-dos on the event stream. Okay, and so let's complete a to-do. Okay, so to mark to-dos as done, we're going to just toggle. We're going to emit a new event that toggles, and it's going to point to the ID of a previous event. So we in our to-do variable we have a previous event, and so that event's ID is to-do.id. We're going to copy this and then append. Okay, so now we have three events. We're going to go add, toggle. And then, so I think this is a bit strange for people as well, I think, if you're not familiar with event sourcing. It's kind of because this is kind of awkward to deal with. And so you kind of you want like an aggregated view of this data, which is, and usually that aggregated view is usually like the source of truth for for most applications. So like that's like basically your RDMS, your relational database. And so with event sourcing, that aggregated view just becomes a projection of the stream. So what does that look like? Aggregated view. Okay. Now I appreciate this probably looks like a lot, but it's not actually a lot. And if this was more of a cross-stream tutorial, I would sort of break this down more. But anyway, so let's step through it. What this is, we're gonna cat the to-dos like we've been doing them before, and we're gonna run them through a Nushell command called generate, which the amazing Nushell contributor Barhex back in January of this year added the ability to just stream events into generate, and then you can sort of build up an aggregation of state, a projection of the stream, and then conditionally you can just like emit things downstream from generate. So in this case, whenever generate is run, it's going to run with a frame that we've just pulled off the stream with our .cat, and we're going to start with a state that will persist between every call to generate. It's going to be our aggregated list of to-dos. So we come down here and then we match the frame that's coming in. So let's go .head. Let's go .cat actually first. So when we .cat and pipe this through stream, this will be the first frame, and so it's gonna hit this. It's gonna match this branch because it's an add event. And so all we do is just appends the event to our list of to-dos, and we populate completed as false. So then, okay, so then when we pipe in, when our second event comes in, it's also an add. So we'll end up with 2 items in our to-do list. And then this third event is going to hit this match branch. And what this match branch does is it quickly runs through our to-dos, and it tries to match on .frame.meta.id. So we go .cat, that's your last. This is our toggle events. So this is the frame, and then we get meta, and then ID. So but if we then spin around and go .get $in, you can. So yeah, we'll go and mark this event as completed. So let's give that a try. Just copy and paste. And you can see we now have a projection of the event stream, and it's just like a nice summary um, of our to-do list at this point in time in the event stream. Okay, so but let's keep building on this. What we want to be able to do is we want to have that projection updated in real time. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the cross-stream .cat-f. And so what that cat-f does is it plays the stream from the beginning of time, and then it watches the stream, and any new events that come in, those events will be passed through this generate as well in real time. Okay, so let's copy this. At this point, I will grab a new window, clear. Okay. Yeah, so you can see for the 3 events that came in, this was the first one. So we had a to-do list of 1 item, and a to-do list of 2 items, and now a to-do list with 2 items. One of those items is completed. And then if we come back up to this window, we still have our $to-do is still pointing at this second to-do. So we can like toggle it a few more times. Where did toggle go? Yep. Toggle. There we go. Yeah. So, and now because this is cat-f, we're gonna see this projection update in real time. Okay. So that's nice. Okay, pressing on. Oh yeah. So now it'd be nice to like have a nice like HTML This is actually great in the terminal, but say if we wanted to make this to-do list available on a web page. So we kind of, yeah, we want to visualize this projection as HTML. So what we'll do is um, we're gonna create like this little we're gonna create a Ginger 2 template that will take our list of to-dos and then just render our to-dos as some nice HTML. And then because we're working on the command line, we're going to use the excellent mini Ginger CLI, which the way I think about this little utility is that it basically allows you on the command line to convert JSON into HTML using Ginger 2 templates to express how the HTML should look. So anyway, so yeah, let's copy this, and this is going to save it down. Okay, and then we can try this out in isolation, which is the really nice thing about working on the command line. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to so we've just got some fixture data here that has ID text and whether or not the to-do is completed. And then we're going to pipe that through the mini Ginger CLI. We've got JSON that's coming in on standard in, so we tell it the format is JSON. We give it our template, and then this dash just means the data that will be passed to the template is coming from standard in. So if we run this, we can see how oops, you can see how this JSON is HTML. Okay, that's great. Okay, so now the next part is we on the server side we have a way of taking our projection and having that projection update in real time. And then we have a way of taking the projection and rendering it to HTML. So now we would need to get this to the client. And so we're going to expose generating this HTML fragment over server-side events. Okay, so for this part, we will reach for http-new, which is a tiny little CLI command that allows you to attach Nushell scripts to HTTP. So let's copy this. Actually saved. Server.new. Okay. Now again, this probably seems like a lot, but once we break it down, it's not that much. Okay, so this endpoint we're not quite ready for yet. Well, this is basically just going to match slash onto to do some static file handling for an index or HTML. But this is the bit where we're working on at the moment. Whenever a GET request comes in to a slash updates endpoint, we're going to respond with text event streams as a subset, an SSE endpoint. Okay, and that all this endpoint is going to do is run the cat-f pipe through generate, which generates our projection. And then for each of the items that's submitted from our real-time projection, we'll turn those into HTML, and then we'll format those to be server-side events. So let's give this a try. Let's go cat serve. Okay, and we're going to pipe that through http-new. We're going to serve and port 3001, and we're reading the script to serve from standard in. Okay, and now let's call, actually we're going to need another window. Let's call localhost 3001 and get the updates. And make this bigger. You can see every time the projection of to-dos has been updated, the HTML fragment that shows the aggregated to-dos has been emitted. So again, if you come up here and toggle some more events, toggle. Each time you toggle an event, the server, you can see it's emitting the HTML again, and it's updating the data completed for our to do. Okay. Okay, and that's great. Okay, now finally, a little bit of Datastar. Okay, so we need an index.html. It's true. Save index. Great. Okay. And so now, if you remember our serve.new, it's going to serve that index.html when the slash point, when we hit that URL at slash, and what our index.html is set up to do is to subscribe to that SSE endpoint at slash updates. And then each time we receive something over SSE, it's just going to replace this HTML fragment. So let's see what that looks like. Localhost 3001. And okay. And then we can go back to toggling events. Oops, do it up here. So yeah, so on the back end, as we update the event stream, you can see the UI updating. Okay. Now the last thing is we want to complete the UI loop. Here we go. Complete the UI loop. Okay. So now we want. So at the moment we just have the UI is purely reacting to changes on the server side, but we want to sort of drive state changes from our UI as well. Okay. So what we're going to do is we'll update our index.html and we're going to add just a basic input to collect a new to do. And then when a new to do is added, we're going to post to the slash add endpoint. And then let's update our index.html to do that. Okay. Okay. Great. So if I hit refresh, we now have this little to-do box. But at the moment, if I go hi and hit enter, nothing's going to happen because nothing's listening on that slash add endpoint. So we'll go down. Yeah. So we're going to add a match branch to our serve.new. Serve.new. Just like add it here. Okay. So yeah, we now support three endpoints slash to serve the index.html slash add. Which is okay when add comes in, we're gonna grab the text of the new to do, and then we just append a new to do, which is add and our text. So literally what we've just been doing from the command line, and that's all this add endpoint does. It doesn't have to be concerned with updating the UI because that's already been happening for us. And yeah, and then we leave our slash updates endpoint the same. So whoops. And the other thing, we just need to restart our serve.new for that update. Okay. Hit refresh. Okay. Let's go. Let's learn Datastar. And yeah. And so now more. So yeah, now we've completed the UI loop. So on the front end, when we add input, this is passed to the backend as well, that slash add handler. The slash add handler then appends a new event to the stream. We have a continuous watch on the event stream, which is updating our projection of the to-dos whenever they come in. And then so we immediately see that newly added to-do then back in our UI again. yeah, that's the tutorial. So that's yeah, and that's what it looks to use Datastar as your UI layer with cross-stream. Yeah, uh, thanks for watching.